What is going on, everyone? This is eman7149 here doing a new review of the game that you see in front of you, The Last of Us, for the PlayStation 3. What a hell of a game this was. This literally is one of the best video games I have ever played in my life, my lifetime. The way I feel about The Last of Us is the same way I feel about The Walking Dead, the one by Telltale Games that came out last year. It's an emotional, fantastic story, and it's amazing. There's so many things to talk about. This is going to be a long review, but I'm putting it out there. So here we go, The Last of Us. Be warned, I'm going to have a few spoilers in there. I won't spoil everything though, but there will be a few things I want to talk about. But all I can say is, before I even start, go buy this game, because it is rare for me when I actually pay $60 for a new game. I usually wait till they get a price cut, but I've only heard positive things about this game, and it looked great. And so this is one of the rare exceptions where I paid $60 and I got the game worth every penny. It is a must-buy. So, alright, The Last of Us. It starts out, you play as this little girl, her name is Sarah. You don't know a whole lot about her, only that she's the daughter of this character, Joel. We'll get to him later. You wake up, the phone goes off, and it's her uncle. And he's saying, put your dad on the phone. Well, he's gone, and the phone gets cut off. So you wander around the house, and there's this broadcast going off, this news, saying that there's some kind of pandemic going on, and then the hospital or wherever they were at blows up, and then you look out the window and you see the explosion go off. So it's like, oh shit. And then, you know, Joel comes in, her dad is like, there's something bad going on, something really bad, and he has to kill one of the neighbors, actually, right in front of her, who's like turned into this monster. So they end up trying to get out of the city, but they're blocking it off to where people can't leave. And Joel and his daughter Sarah end up having to go off on foot. And anyway, they run into this guard, this soldier, and he basically is like, "Sir, there's civilians." He's talking to his commander, I guess, and he says there's a little girl, but he has to listen to his orders, even though he could have just said no. He shoots both of them. He just, I think, barely, maybe he like shot Joel in the shoulder or grazed him. But his brother, Tommy, the uncle that called, shoots that soldier in the head. And then he looks over and his daughter got shot in the stomach and she dies right then and there. And you're like, oh shit. Oh shit. I mean, it's like, it's messed up. That was in the first 15 to 20 minutes and you're already like, oh man. And it hasn't even started yet. So, it cuts to summer. We have the 4 seasons. It's like the 4 chapters, the 4 seasons. And it's been 20 years since everything happened. And, well, things are just not good. They're pretty bad. And, he wakes, you end up meeting this woman named Tess, who's like his helper, and things happen, you know, stuff like that, and, well, anyway, some stuff goes down, and they end up meeting up with this group called the Fireflies, which are like the people, this group of people that are standing up against the governments and everything. And what happens is, over the span of the 20 years, we see that civilization has not fallen. I mean, a lot of them have turned into these zombie creatures. Really, they're not even like zombies. What it is, it's like a parasite that takes over in your brain, and there's different kinds. There's clickers, runners, bloaters, and is there another one? That might have been just the 3 I can think of off the top of my head. But the story is just amazing, and you meet with the Fireflies, and they say, listen, you need to make a delivery, and if you do that, we'll give you all kinds of stuff, a bunch of weapons and supplies. And it ends up being this girl right here, Ellie is her name, she's immune to the whole disease and pandemic. And yeah, they prove it by showing that she got bit on her arm, and it's been 2 weeks, and you turn within a day or even 2 days if you're lucky. But if you get bit, you turn. But she's immune to this. And anyway, you go on this crazy adventure. You have to go across different cities, towns, forests. You meet with a whole bunch of people, and there are not a lot of good people out there, except I'd say for his brother. There's just not any good people out there in the world. The world it's gone. It's downhill. People are trying to survive, and they're killing each other to survive. And so you end up with Joel and Tess, and he's trying to get her to this hospital, to the Fireflies, so they can get the vaccine going. And like I said, you go through the 4 stages. Summer, spoiler here, but when you're nearing the end of summer, you run into these 2 brothers. I can't remember their names. I slipped my mind, but they actually seem like decent people. You're like, okay, they leave you behind, which pissed me off at first. But then when he brought up something, it's like, oh, that makes sense. He's like, what if the roles were switched? You would have left us too. And even Joel's like, oh. He doesn't say it, but you can see by his expression. He's like, oh yeah, we would have. Some bad things happen with that. Then you cut to fall. So that's like chapter 2. It's the second part, fall. That's when you run into your brother. You find this really nice civilization that they're building up. And he was going to see if he can leave Ellie with him and have him take him to the Fireflies, have him take her to the Fireflies, and then Joel can go back. But Ellie is starting to grow attached to Joel, and Joel's kind of getting attached, but not really. He's pretty damaged, having his daughter get killed and then living in this world for 20 years. Anyway, she does a couple of things, and he decides, I don't want to put you in harm's way, his brother, so he's like, I'm going to take her, just give me the directions. And so they go. And by the end of it all, he gets impaled by this pole. Like, he falls off a ledge and gets impaled. And it's pretty sad, because you're like limping. You're just falling on things. It's kind of like with Lee at the end of The Walking Dead, when you're trying to walk through that building and you're just limping. And anyway, it's like Ellie's like there, and she's just offing people left and right. I mean, it was like, dang, she knows how to use a weapon now. As you can see, she has a rifle right there. But you have to kill a few people. She takes care of the rest, and then you end up riding off. And then that cuts, and it goes to winter. And winter, I would have to say, is actually my favorite chapter or season out of the 4. Winter, you start out as playing Ellie, and she's in the woods, and it starts out, there's this rabbit, and you see an arrow just hit it, and drops it. Then Ellie walks up and picks up the rabbit and the arrow and says, oh, that's not going to be enough. And then you start playing as Ellie, and you actually start hunting deer. You start like you shoot this elk. It's like, oh, and you're tracking it, looking through the blood, you're crawling through the snow, taking it real slow. Then you meet this guy, I didn't like him from when I first met him. I was like, something's off about him. But he's voiced by Nolan North. I just can't remember his name. Anyway, the guy's kind of weird to me, a little off. But you get attacked, and he helps you survive, and then you get by this fire that he built, and he's like, hey, I sent out 2 groups of men to the city to go get some supplies, and this crazy man killed every single one of them. And rumor has it, he's got a little girl with him. Would you know anything about that? And when he said that, it's like, oh shit, and she just picks up her bow and arrow and puts it right up at his face, and it's like, oh, I don't think so.